Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, EX Super is here! And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new mechanic that did arrive with the 13.1.0 update. And the character that we're looking at today is Goldie Roger. Now, Goldie Roger is the only character in the game that has this EX Super, and whilst this particular mechanic seems incredibly broken, it is quite restrictive in its own right. Now, for you guys that don't know what this is, basically EX Super goes on a particular character and allows them to get access to super types as well as super classes, all in the same super special, which is actually insane. However, as you can see, the activation requirement, it's a lot more restrictive than what a normal super type or super class is. So let's take a look at Rogers here. You need 3 of any of the following characters on the crew, except for support characters and double characters count as 1. We have Odin, Rayleigh, Newgate, Scopper, Gaban, Crocus, Shanks, Buggy, Dogstorm, Cat Viper, or Portergas D8. You need 3 of these characters on the team to get access to the EX Super Special, which changes all slots, including Walk into Quick, and changes Quick to Super Quick, as well as Slasher into Super Slasher. So, very powerful, getting a Super Type and a Super Class, plus a full board of orbs that Roger can also make quick, which is really, really nice, because his captain, his sailor makes quick slots have matching slot effects for the crew, and I'm pretty sure for his captain, he makes quick slots have matching slot effects as well, so pretty nice stuff. He's a good, great, perfect captain, shout out to those guys. However, the big talking point about EX Super is that you can actually use this as a sailor. Now, as you can see here, it says, if it is the same type of class as the character that we use the EX Super, the other character comes Super 2, and certain characters that meet the requirements will be able to use EX Super even if they are a crewmate. However, Rogers doesn't state that he needs to be a captain. It doesn't state that he needs to be a crewmate. I have tested this, and with Roger as a crewmate and having 3 of those characters on the crew, I did not have access to Roger's EX Super as a sailor. However, as a captain, I definitely did. Now, this part of the mechanic is where stuff gets very, very crazy. If you can access this as a sailor and have a super class / super type or EX Super, whatever you want to call it, we'll call it EX Super because that's what it's called, as a sailor, on top of having another unit that's, say, like a free spirit super class, and then having something like, or having something like other super classes and super types as your captains, you eventually, once this mechanic becomes more prevalent, will be able to have a super class and a super type, and double super class even, for every single unit on your crew. However, it does come down to requirements. As you guys saw with Roger, his EX Super is quite restrictive in having particular units on the team. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at it today in some 10-star GARPS challenges, sort of see how it operates and actually have a chat about it a little bit further. Alright, so we're going to start it off with Heavenly Demon 1, utilizing double Roger as our captains. Now, we have a lot of very, very powerful characters on our team here. A lot of units that are actually probably better captains than what Roger can provide, and I feel like that's probably the big downside to Roger's EX Special. With Roger, he needs to be the captain, and bringing him as a captain, whilst he is a 5.25 captain after hitting Good, Great, Perfect, again, shout out to those guys, there are a lot of units in the game that sort of just do it better. Like, Shank's crew in their dual form is just an unconditional 5.25 times captain. Looking at something like Odin and Toki, with what they can provide as a captain when they're in their dual form, they can provide a 5.7 something, I believe, if you have a 10 or a 1 orb. So they can do some really, really cool stuff there. Now, if Roger could activate his EX Super as a sailor, this would be a lot more beneficial, as it would bring into play dual units as captains, and I do believe that this is what EX Super is going to provide moving forward. It's going to make stuff like dual units, it's going to make stuff like verse units, captain action units a lot more viable as captains, because when you can get a super class and a super type as a sailor, it opens the door to some incredibly broken units that a lot of people don't like to use because they're missing out on stuff like super type. Super type, especially against super boss, is almost crucial. When the enemy puts up a super type against you, you're immediately doing 50% less damage with a type advantage unit. Unless you bring your own super type to counteract that, you are, like I said, you're losing 50% damage, which is absolutely massive. It's a huge chunk of damage, and now you can actually get super type as a sailor, which means that utilizing something, for example, like Odin and Toki to be your captain at the crazy 5.77 or whatever it is as a captain, having this super class and super type for quick and for slashes, or even for strength and for, well, Roger doesn't do strength, but for quick and slashes, if you are doing some shenaniganry against, say, a strength super boss, you can output a lot of damage. Like I said, the downside to Roger is that he is an EX booster when he's the captain, which does diminish this drastically. But this is not going to be the case for every unit that gets this particular buff. It just means that right now we are very restricted to what Roger can provide. So the limit for this, or the sky, I should say, is the limit. Because if Roger was a sailor that could activate this, you not only have stuff like Odin and Toki that would get a lot better as a captain, you have stuff like Shanks' crew with their utility, providing special bind removal and end of turn damage, but then also having access to the super type and the super class of slashes. You could do some crazy stuff with Carrot and Wanda, the end of turn damage, ignoring defensive effects and all the cooldowns, and then having just Roger there to give super type and super class. You have Kinemon Dendro and their ability to generate Wano orbs instead of recovery, and that way you could get a super type and a super class once again with Roger and build out some quick slasher teams there. So the list goes on and on when it comes to incredible dual units, but like I said, you also have access to verse characters. Verse characters as captains now become more viable, and if we take a look at a character like Zoro, for example, who is super effective against all types in his Enma state, with a super type and a super class, because Zoro is a captain action unit, this would just break down the boundaries for that particular character and just showcase the absolute prowess of what Enma Zoro could do in that stage. If you guys want to see some more showcases on this particular mechanic with some of these characters like Brook would be a great one with his super class of free spirits, Enma Zoro with his ability to go through all types. You then have characters like Izo and Kiku and Shanks are both super types already. Carrot would be a great one. Carrot, when she switches into the captain, would be a fantastic sub for something like Roger, because Carrot could then access a bigger captain multiplier that could also go through defensive effects while still getting the super type and super class that Roger provides for quick and slasher characters. So the list goes on and on and on with what you could actually do with this unit, and I'm very eager to see what they could do in the future with some of these other PK units, and even give it to other characters that may not have super class or super type, like Rumble units or whatnot, and sort of break down the boundaries of what the character's potential could actually be. However, it is a little unfortunate that Roger is so restrictive. Now, even if Roger could access this as a sailor, you do need to bring 3 characters on the team that satisfy a named condition for this particular unit. Now, don't get me wrong, Roger has a lot of very good characters that he has access to. Shanks has nearly every unit that Shanks has is like Slasher, Free Spirit, and Cerebral, but like there are a lot of Slasher Shanks characters. Odin, you have every Odin is basically Slasher. You have access to a lot of very good Ace units that are Free Spirit. The upside to Roger is he is a Rainbow Captain, but remember the super class is only for slashers, so you do want to try and bring out characters that have that slasher tag, because having a super class is going to give you overall more damage for the majority of your units rather than a super type. Super type will only be effective if you're versing type positive or type negative rather than type neutral, where super class can actually access basically no matter what you're fighting. So that's going to be a real benefit when it comes to team building with Roger. But like I said, if Roger was a sailor and you could get access to this, then yes, it would be better. However, you still need to shoehorn a lot of these characters into the team. Cat Viper, Dogstorm, Odin, Shanks, Buggy, Newgate, Rayleigh, all these characters, whilst they have a lot of representation, you have to build out 3 spots for them. And then you have Roger included. That's already 2/3 of your team built for you, and doesn't really give you the freedom to bring some of those other characters that might not only be Slasher, might not only be quick, but definitely not the counterpart of both of them. If we take a look at some of the characters on the list that might actually have both. We have the new Oden and Toki, and I think they're probably one of the bigger ones that are going to see the most benefits for it. Shanks' crew is another very good character that is going to see a lot of benefits through this particular mechanic. You have characters like, there's a quick Rayleigh, a rare recruit Rayleigh. They could definitely see some play. You have the quick Whitebeards. They're going to get buffs there. Luffy and Ace definitely gets a nice little chunky buff here. Carrot and Wanda are a character that, and that 6+ of Carrot is definitely going to be a very, very handy unit to use under this Roger as well, even though they obviously don't satisfy the conditions of the EX Super. You have the treasure map rare recruits of Cat Dog. You have 6+ Cat Dog that would work great. You even have the Dex Cat Dogs that would work exceptionally well. And again, if you could use Roger as a sailor on that particular team and give the Slasher superclass alongside the Fighter superclass that Dogstorm could give, now you're giving every single buff that unit needs in terms of like super with Slashers, Fighters, and Dex if you are running the Cat Dog combination. So, like I said in the Dopey 1 part of the video, I'm incredibly excited to see where they take this mechanic. I'm incredibly excited to see how far the limit that they want to take this is. And I want to see what kind of, what level of dimension, how do I word this? What dimensional level this brings to team building moving forward. Not only is it giving super class and super type, by the way, but it's actually a special in its own right, just like a normal super type would be, or a normal superclass would be. Roger is giving you a full board of orbs that goes through block orbs. That is also something we need to remember. This is actually providing something for the team, and not only just that buff of super type and superclass. So very, very interesting stuff. I do think this is an incredibly valuable power creep for the game. And if they do start doing this kind of stuff to new legends, for example, and even if they only make it for captains, it's still way better than anything that we would get if we were just getting a super type or we were getting a super class on its own right. When you can now implement both of them together, it opens the door to so many different possibilities with team building. So many possibilities. But let me know your thoughts and opinions of EX Super in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the 13.1 update and preparing yourself for the big dog that is coming on August 5th. And, yeah, most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, thank you for watching. As always, homies, like I said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Let's!